Have you ever wanted to write a script but you don't know where to start? Well, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Ava Justin. I am a 19-year-old actress, filmmaker, and screenwriter, and today I'm going to be breaking down all the different elements that go into writing a script so you can write your first screenplay. For my credentials, I have written Joy of Horses, which is a full-length feature film that you can watch on Tubi, Prime Video, Roku, YouTube, etc. I wrote this movie when I was 17 years old with a mentor who was able to guide me, and I was really able to get a better understanding of what it takes to write a script. And I totally understand, as a writer, looking at a blank page for the first time can feel daunting. So today I'm going to be breaking down how to write a script in simple terms. I think it's fitting to start with what starts a scene, and that is the slug line. The slug line will be at the top of the scene, and it will tell you where the scene takes place and when it takes place as well. An example of what a slug line might look like could be interior coffee shop day. The INT is short for interior, which means inside, or it might say EXT, which stands for exterior, which would be outside. Following the exterior or the interior, it will say the location. In this case, it might be a coffee shop. Following that, it'll say either day, night, evening, just when it will take place. It kind of works as like a chapter heading, just so when you're going through the script, you know what's going on, and it organizes the scenes better. Filming a scene inside compared to outside is, of course, a big difference. For the production, preparing to film outside, oftentimes, there can be more challenges, like what if there's like a road and there's cars passing by, like that would be a problem for audio, or where the sun is for continuity. It's really important to know if it's inside or outside, where it is, and the time of day. After the slug lines or scene headers, next we have the action lines. Action lines are the visual play-by-play of what is happening in the scene. They are also always written in the present tense, so what is going on right now. You wouldn't be seeing sentences that are like, she walked to the park. It would be, she walks to the park. Does that make sense? Because it's happening right now in the present tense. Action lines are the base for your visuals and what you'll be filming. So the more specific you are, and the more clearer you are, it'll go so much smoother when you film. For example, let's say a character is feeling nervous and you want to portray that in the script. Instead of writing, she feels nervous, maybe you'd write, she taps her foot under her desk, or she's playing with her nails, or something like that that would indicate an action on what she would be doing. To show you guys what a slug line and action lines look like in real life, I'm going to show you an example from Joy of Horses. This is the opening scene of Joy of Horses. The slug line is exterior car day. Then the action lines are, the sun shines on the ranch and surrounding land. Horses trot and cattle graze near the white barn as the credits roll. Mark's car drives down a country road. So that is what it looks like to translate the script onto the film. I hope that example makes it make a bit more sense. After the action lines, we have our dialogue. These are our lines, these are what we're going to be saying. When it comes to showing dialogue in the script, we are going to have the character's name right in the middle in all caps, and then right below it we'll have the dialogue. Now, sometimes there's going to be a little abbreviation in parentheses right next to the character name. In this scene, for example, we have in parentheses V.O. This stands for voiceover. The camera is focused on something else while my voice is playing in the background. Another abbreviation that you might see is OS or OC. OS stands for off screen and OC stands for off camera. They sound similar, but there is a difference. OS, which means off screen, means that the character is not visible in the screen, but they're still in the scene. So you might hear their character from another room or from like behind the hall, from like the hallway, but you don't see them, but you do hear them. OC means off camera, and this means we do hear that character's line, but they are just not on camera in that moment either. So for example, the shot might be focused on a different actor's reaction while the other character is still saying their line, they're just not on camera. The next term is parentheticals. Parentheticals you might see in parentheses right underneath the character's name, and this is kind of a short little action or note for the character's line. One could say you could have that in as like a scene action, but also since it happens during the line and it's so quick, it makes sense to put it in a parenthetical. You might also see these parentheticals having different emotions, like I said, yelling or crying or angry or frustrated, just more information on how that character should be delivering their line. This leads me to my next topic of transitions and cuts. In a script, transitions tell the reader how we move from one scene to the next. You've probably seen transitions such as fade in or fade out. They're really good for pacing, and when you want a special effect, it kind of helps you show that. That will also help the editor know what type of pacing that scene needs. Another point I want to make is to care the most about the story. Of course, learn how to write a script, learn the formatting, all of that good stuff. When you have a good story going, you can always go back and maybe fix some of the formatting mistakes later, but overall just focus on telling the story that you want to tell. Just when you have the ideas, when you have the thoughts, and you have the urge to write, just keep writing and get all of your ideas down. That's probably the most important piece of advice from this video, is to keep writing and just to get your thoughts down. And caring about the story gives your audience a reason to stay, a reason to keep reading the script, to keep watching the movie. When I was writing Joy of Horses, what we did was we outlined the whole story. Like I said, I had one other writer. We numbered every main point that happens in the story. We might have had like 30 main points, I'm not sure exactly, but we assigned numbers for each other to write, and then we would meet up again and went over the work that we did and what works for the story and what we might want to tweak a little bit. Outlining the story makes it so much easier once you actually start writing the script, because you don't want to get stuck. You don't want to think, I have no idea what happens next, what's going to happen in the beginning, what's going to happen in the middle, what's going to happen in the end. It's easier to keep that flow going. As far as what screenwriting softwares I use to write, I use Final Draft, and I also have Writer's Duet, so I guess I have two. But those are the two ones that I'm most familiar with. I know Final Draft is kind of like the industry standard, like everyone I know pretty much uses Final Draft. If you're a beginner, there are also some free writing softwares out there. If you just type that into Google, there should be some that come up. I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope you got some valuable information that you can take with you when you write your next script. I hope you keep writing, stay motivated, keep pushing through. I know writing a script is so much work, whether you're writing a short film, whether you're trying to write a feature, whatever you're trying to write, I hope it goes great. Also, give Joy of Horses a watch and let me know what you think of it. Make sure you're following my Instagram at Ava Justin, and also my production company's Instagram, Ava Justin Productions. I'm constantly posting my acting and my work on there. And stay tuned for my next video.